AITA for refusing to help my sister after she left me stranded years ago. 10 years ago, when I was and my sister was, I found myself in a terrifying situation. I was stranded an hour from home in a bad area, unable to find a way back. The trains were shut down, and in my desperation, I called my sister Morgana for help. Her response shocked me. She said she was too tired from work and wouldn't come to pick me up. She suggested I either walk or wait at the station until the trains resumed. Tragically, my decision to wait led to a mugging. I was violently attacked, lost my wallet, IDs, and even my computer. Fortunately, a police officer came to my aid and gave me a ride back home. I made it clear to my sister that I would never forget this incident and that she shouldn't expect help from me when she needed it. Fast forward to the present, it's been 10 years, and my parents treated the family to a cruise. My girlfriend and I made a trip out of it, driving down 2 days ahead to stay in a hotel. Then, at midnight on the eve of our cruise, my sister called in a panic. She had gotten into a fight with her boyfriend, who had subsequently left with the car. Now, she was unable to drive to the cruise dock the next day, stranded outside her boyfriend's house with only her purse. She asked us to make a 10-hour round trip to pick her up, which would have disrupted our plans significantly. In response, I texted her that sometimes life throws curveballs, and she should wait for the buses to start running to get back home. I figured she'd be okay waiting outside on a bench all night, just like I had all those years ago. She called me an asshole, and her boyfriend eventually returned, driving them to the cruise together. She told our parents about the incident. To my surprise, our parents sided with me, stating that she had done the same thing to me in the past and that if she was going to treat me poorly, I had every right to reciprocate. Eventually, she apologized, but I reiterated that she shouldn't expect me to be there for her in the future, given her past actions. Comment: how lovely a moment that must have been for you. You could have been killed when she blew you off 10 years ago. Has she ever even apologized for that? I would never help her out. But I'm petty. Yeah, so she probably still doesn't understand why you were ever even upset about it, right? Your sister sounds as clueless and self-absorbed as mine. I haven't talked to mine in nearly a decade, except for once for 12 seconds earlier this year when it was unavoidable. I hope to never see her again. This is the point that many people commenting on this post are overlooking. Op was mugged and could have been killed. And, the sister has never apologized for her actions towards Op. This is why their parents took Op's side on this matter. Not to mention, Op said in another comment that she has been avoiding her sister consistently over the years, so this was not a one-time thing but a moment to make her point to her sister, which she still hasn't grasped. You had the right to refuse just based on the 10-hour round trip. The vengeance for past mistreatment is just icing on the cake. Given the fact that your sister wouldn't help you when you were in a genuinely dangerous situation, really makes it ridiculous that she expected you to help her when the worst thing that would happen to her is not getting to enjoy a vacation. AITA loves these tales of retribution, but if this really happened, how do you feel after finally acting on the grudge you've nurtured for a decade? Would you have preferred that she be mugged? Oh, Yuri, not committing to a 10-hour drive means she would have had to miss a cruise. Her not being willing to drive could have cost you your life, and you did suffer significant consequences. I'm glad your parents defended you here. Yes, therapy might be good, but you'd be well within your rights to demand your sister wasn't allowed on the cruise in the first place, or any other family vacations. Next story 2. AITA for mentioning that my wife can go back to full-time work. My wife has been working part-time for the past 9 years since she gave birth to our first child. We've since had 2 more children for a total of 3, and our youngest will be starting school full-time, Monday to Friday 8:45 to 15:15. During the past 9 years, my wife has been working 3 days a week, apart from the times she was on maternity leave, which was for a year after each child. This was what she wanted, as she wanted more time with the kids, which I fully supported. During the 3 days a week that she worked, I did the school run in the morning and got the kids ready and prepared their lunch. My mother did the afternoon school/nursery pickups. The 2 days a week she was off, I also got the kids ready. The girls preferred the way I comb their hair and iron their clothes, while my wife prepared their lunches and did the school/nursery run in the morning and afternoon. Since COVID, our work is mostly WFH, we go in once a week each, meaning that we're always available for the school and nursery run, which we share about 60/40ths, with my wife doing the 60. My youngest has been at nursery 4 days a week with my wife working 3. meaning she has 1 day a week free. She usually uses this time to meet a friend, go out, or do something for herself. She has the youngest with her on Friday and she'll make plans or have time at home. I'll usually work from the office on a Thursday or Friday depending what suits. Our youngest will be starting school in September and I mentioned to my wife it would be good to have a 2-income household again, as I can take a step back from consulting and find a 9 to 5 that would be less stressful for me. She absolutely lost it, started shouting at me asking, how could I be so selfish? After she calmed down she told me she wanted the Thursday and Friday as time for herself. I said that's fine if I can have Saturday for myself, which she didn't like. I explained how consulting has been a strain for me, which she's already aware of as I've been talking her how stressful it has been for almost 9 years. She's not happy with me and has said I'm being inconsiderate and she wants time for herself. We share almost everything when it comes to looking after the kids. Some days she does more, especially the days she off, but the days we're both working, I do more. So, AITA, should I have been more considerate towards my wife and not assumed she would have been going back to work full-time? Comnet. I mean, maybe this is true. If it is, he should divorce her because his life would be easier since he already does everything. He can get half the week to himself if he divorces and has shared custody, although I suspect she'll push for full custody to get more child support given she works part-time and doesn't want to work anymore. They'll split 50-50 custody as long as there are 2 available, loving parents who desire to have custody. That is the default in modern family court, despite what men want to believe. That actually doesn't matter when one person wants 2 days off a week and is mad at the other partner for wanting 1 day off a week. Automatically, the person wanting 2 days to themselves while saying the other person shouldn't have any isn't contributing equally, because they want to be doing 5 days of responsibility while they want the other person to do 7. 2 days of no responsibility and getting to go out with PPL is more than 0 days, so obviously the person with 0 says to themselves is contributing more to the household. I agree. I do think weekend caretaking might require an every other/on/off schedule, be it by this is your free space Saturday, next weekend we all do family tasks, then it's my free weekend again, or something else modified to their life. How is that fair? Wife will be getting 6.5 hours on Thursday and 6.5 hours on Friday free, while op gets no hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday free. So op asking for every Saturday free seems reasonable. I am of course assuming that op has a bit of flexibility, in that if 2 kids have a b-day party of attend or 1 kid has a game, op is still going to show up. Op, you need to put your foot down about this issue and not budge. Full stop. Your mental health is just as important as hers, and if she wasn't being selfish, then she'd want you to be your best self, and that means a day to just veg. I am a stay-at-home mom through the fault of a careless driver. While I do have a bit of cash flow, my husband is the main income earner and always will be. Every day I wish I had my old body back. 2 reasons are so that I could be unequal financially and that my husband didn't have to work so much overtime or so on call. She should want you not to have to break your back just so she can live comfortably. When the kids are in school September to December, there's no reason why she couldn't work near a full-time schedule. Just like how if she gets a day to herself, you should too. My husband's first day off, I try my best to let him be, he usually just sleeps tbh, and in return, I get to sleep in on the weekends while he handles the kids. There needs to be compromise or you're going to burn out and this marriage will suffer. Next story 3. AITA, I will no longer feed my friend when she comes over like I do with my other friends. I actually feel like this is a possibly stupid question, but my friend group is split over this and I need an unbiased opinion. I 26 have a friend 25 who is currently on a health kick. All she talks about is how nasty some food is, how processed food is bad, etc. Okay, not really the biggest problem ever, but it gets annoying. My apartment is pretty much the main hangout spot for our friend group, ages range from 24 to 26, and I pretty much feed everybody who comes over. We often hang out in a big group and I cook for everyone and then they Venmo me after. They also occasionally come over separately or just a few of us will hang out, everyone generally gets fed in those situations too. This is where the problem starts. My friend has now started talking about the process of food being cooked. This completely turns pretty much everyone off of eating, but she claims I'm just trying to make you more aware of how our food gets to the table. Just over 3 weeks ago, I made pigs in blankets, hot dogs wrapped in bacon, and after she took a bite she started talking about how sad the person who butchered the pig must feel, and about all the blood and veins in the pig and stuff like that. Almost everybody, except one of my friends who just doesn't listen anymore when she talks, pushed away their food and was done with it. She still ate. My main problem was that she says all of this, but is not vegan or vegetarian. She just seems to either like to ruin our meals or she's on some kind of empty activism kick. I made the decision not to feed her anymore when she comes over, and as a result I just put out snacks for my friends. This is better because I do save time on cooking, I guess. However, when my friends have come over in the last week I still fed them because they were there without her. One of my friends happened to post a picture and now she's bombarding me and a few of our other friends about how we're excluding her solely because she believes in animal rights. Now I'm conflicted. A bunch of my friends have agreed that it's annoying but she's fighting for something she believes in and stuff like that. AITA. Comment. Your friend needs to understand that her killing the mood isn't socially desirable and contributes negatively to the conversation. The fact that she said how gross and cruel the meal was and ate it anyway is a prime example of why she needs to keep those thoughts to herself instead of subjecting everyone to them. Not to mention that she isn't actually fighting for anything, let alone animal rights, particularly given that, as you noted, she's still eating all the stuff herself. All she's doing is making people feel unwell at the table. You aren't excluding her because she cares about animals. You're excluding her because she's an asshole. If she cared about animals she'd be vegetarian/vegan or at least only buying kosher/halal/private farm meat where the animals are at least supposed to be butchered with care. Instead, she's eating the same junk the rest of us do, talking about it graphically, and playing innocent. I mean, I could read The Jungle aloud at the next dinner party I go to, I just wouldn't expect to be invited back. I think you're kind to still allow her over. She'd be on a timeout from visiting my place. How can she claim to be for animal rights while continuing to eat any meat you serve? The friend group should be able to get together and enjoy whatever you are serving without listening to her commentary. Can you possibly make a rule that there is no talking about this stuff while people are eating? I mean, her choice to talk about this while you are eating is causing more animal waste because then you have made food and now nobody wants to eat it because of her actions.